Disneyland's Fantasmic show erupted in flames recently in a very unfortunate situation that has made the viral news rounds. Fantasmic Inferno. We've covered it here as well. But Disneyland leadership recently notified cast members that performances of Fantasmic are now paused until at least May 28th. As the investigation continues into the April 22nd incident, fire effects similar to those in Fantasmic are temporarily suspended out of an abundance of caution in other parks as well as California Adventure. WDW News Today reports that the Maleficent Dragon was completely destroyed by the fire, so when Fantasmic does return, the show will likely be performed in B mode with the dragon projected on a mist screen. Other pyrotechnics could also be suspended, but that has not been confirmed. Katrina, how confident are you that the Maleficent Dragon will be restored or replaced at this nighttime spectacular? I had a lot more confidence myself a couple weeks ago, and I'm starting to get nervous about it.
I'm confident it won't be done by the summer.
Yeah?
I feel like if they, like what they said with the projections and stuff, yes, they're like once everything's kind of cleared up and cleaned up and everything, they'll bring it back and then just do some type of B mode for a while. Like especially during the summer, they cannot have not have a show in the summer to like take people away. But now I feel like that e-ticket ride for Avengers Campus is definitely on the chopping block if they need money, because that money is going to be going towards probably Maleficent first, and then once they build it. But hopefully, like I would imagine maybe by the end of the year. Like I can't imagine them building like a whole new one unless they had one like in like a department somewhere. They're like, hey, do you want to use a spare over here that we have?
Standby.
You know, so maybe they'll have it like probably like, you know, hopefully by like Christmas time and stuff. But in the summer, like I can't imagine them like doing a rush job and like getting it in there and fast. But who knows? Maybe.
Perhaps. I hope that...
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I hope that they will invest the money that they need to in order to repair this really spectacular audio animatronic that breathes fire, even though it has trouble doing so clearly.
It was sad not seeing it breathe fire in like Magic Kingdom when we walked by the parade. It was weird.
It's very odd to have all of these things illuminated just like that over an incident that seems very isolated, but I guess, again, out of an abundance of caution, as they mentioned, until they figure out exactly what happened, why put anybody at risk if you don't know? Yeah. So, smart idea, of course, and the Disneyland website also being one that continues to be updated as we move along for the sake of when Fantasmic is coming back. So, we are now waiting for the Fantasmic return, hopefully before the summer crowds really do start to arrive, but a lot is left up in the air at this point. Garrett, due to the rumored extent of the damage, some Disney fans are making the case to close Fantasmic at Disneyland for good and put something new in its place. What's your reaction to that? We don't necessarily know exactly how much that audio animatronic dragon, you know, the Maleficent Dragon costs, but no doubt that was a very pretty penny. And if they're not going to entirely replace the dragon, rumored, then should they replace the show?
Listen, if they can keep something as old as the Main Street Electrical Parade running after all these years, then they can easily fix this. I'll call it a small dilemma in the grand scheme of things, because, you know, Main Street Electrical has been going on for years, and that thing is broken down and beat up. They can easily bring Fantasmic back. So I think Fantasmic will be making a comeback. It was, you know, just a few years ago that they brought out Fantasmic 2.0, where they brought out the whole new, you know, the princes and the princesses and these new characters, and you know they replaced the Peter Pan section with, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, adding Captain Jack Sparrow and these new IP that they have. So I really do not see them completely scrapping the show, because the stage still works, the effects still work, plus Fantasmic is so iconic in just the music, just the scenes, they stand out. And the Disneyland one is different than the Disney World one, where they have similar but differences. And I personally prefer the Disneyland one. It's the iconic original one. While it does not have the seating arrangement that is very nice at Hollywood Studios, it does have, I think, a little bit more grandeur to it. And, you know, the audio animatronic Maleficent Dragon, I think, is better at Disneyland than Disney World. Disney World, it's a crane and, you know, goes into the mountain. This one rose out of the ground or appeared magically somewhere. We don't know how. So I really I don't see the show going away unless there's something below the surface, like into the actual infrastructure of that stage, to where it's like, listen, we got to start over from scrap and shut down, Tom Sawyer's Island. It's going to come back to a certain degree. Maybe they'll have some new audio animatronic technology added in there. Who knows? As long as the crane dragon from Hollywood Studios doesn't pop in, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So the likelihood of scrapping Fantasmic for some either new version of Fantasmic or just a brand new show entirely, I'd say that's pretty low. I'd give it less than 10% because Disney knows how iconic this show is, and Disneyland is a bit more, it has nostalgia in certain areas. Like Disney World, they try and keep things the same, but Disneyland, this is like the one thing that's been there for a very long time, and they don't really want it to go away. Like people love Fantasmic. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Bring in the drones. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with some drones. I don't know how, but like they do have, Rapunzel and Flynn. You could have some little floating lanterns behind them or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty.
A lot could be done with drones.
I would chain myself to that island if they tried to get rid of Fantasmic.
This guy.
That's how dedicated
happen.
he is to being CEO.
Yeah, it's
right.
not happening.
Hell no, he won't go.
That's right.
Yeah.
That I'll say that.
Fantasmic forever.
Yeah. Like, why can't they make like a Maleficent drone? It's over water, and then if it falls on the water.
Yeah, smart. There we
Ooh,
go.
actually, if they added some kind of aerial flying effect, because they did that when they opened New Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. Granted, that area.
Oh yeah,
big,
remember
but you
that
could do
dragon flying when they opened New Fantasyland? That's right.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah,
we never
they did
saw that again.
once.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they
they
also did the
also
same
had
thing with Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, they had the
like,
X-wing,
flying
yeah.
X-wings.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
right
they give
now
us a little taste of these things, and then we never see them again.
Yeah.
They vanish.
Guys,
And in
too
Paris, they're
expensive, too many
using
people.
drones and
Yeah, maybe.
over in Paris, they're using drones and their fireworks against their Hollywood Tower of Terror with like the whole Avengers circle, and then they do it in their castle with like the the Mickey 30.
That's so cool.
It's amazing how all these other parks, except for the ones in the west and Western Hemisphere of the world, use drones and all this advanced audio animatronics. For example, Beauty and the Beast versus Norway's Elsa. We got to step it up here in America. I'm just saying we got to pump some more money into the Imagineer budget.
I honestly feel like it is because of nosy people that's the reason why we don't have drones, is because people will start flying over to try to see it or something like that. And that's probably the reason why. Because in Universal, they have their drone, and Hollywood. And then so it turns into a stag, and then it like moves. It's really cool. But there was a day when we were watching it, remember? And then there was a helicopter just kind of flying around, and it started getting lower and lower. And then what happened? They all dispersed, turned red, and started flashing.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the show,
Oh.
it just there was like a sensor,
They went
and
into
it
like
got
an emergency
What
mode.
spell is that in Harry Potter? I want to know what spell that is.
and so they just started flashing, and then they all went back home, and then show over. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So it was because people were very nosy, and they started trying to fly over, and then they got a little too close, and then they're like, emergency, break apart. And they're
Too close.
yeah, so I feel like that's probably and then maybe too expensive. But
Perhaps.
I really want that drone show though from Paris. That looks really, really cool.
I think it'd be easy to do, especially and very safe to do over water. It's the one part of the park that they could do it very seamlessly, and maybe fire-breathing drones in the future. We'll see.
Drones in
That
Epcot.
That sounds dangerously
World
exciting.
Showcase.
That would be.
They've got to be planning that, right? I mean, that just makes sense to do it over the water at Epcot. I mean,
Make a world.
Yeah.
And then they fly
Ooh,
together
I'm down
and
for
make
that.
a world.
Globe drone. Look out.
How cool would that be if it was like all of them were stationed on all of the countries, and then they just start flying from the countries, and then they gather around into a world?
Oh, she's inspired.
Wow.
Look at that. She's
Me and
feeling
my
it.
CFO brain, I'm like, this is way too expensive.
Ain't nobody paying for this.
You can't put a price on happiness, Katrina.
I mean,
That's why we have to cut 7,000 jobs across the Disney company in order to pay for it.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Thousands and thousands.
Sacrifices will be made for
Yeah,
the sake
clearly.
of our enjoyment in this group.
Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be
well,
a conversation?
we certainly hope that the Fantasmic Dragon fiasco gets figured out and is ready for the big summer crowds, even if the gigantic audio animatronic dragon can't come back. A B mode whatever works at this point, just to give that value of entertainment. There's a lot of other great spectacle that comes along with the show outside of the dragon itself. So we'll say a little prayer for old Murphy the Dragon and hope for the best, that's for sure.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.